I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oops the Podcast. Gallerati with my pal, confidant, sidekick, Ryan is very polite Lynch.
Mr. Gallerati officially.
Officially Mr. Gallerati.
I think now you can really be Mr. Gallerati.
Mr. Gallerati. I am very slowly getting my voice back. We're recording this episode now a couple days after my wedding weekend. What a weekend it was indeed. Lynch was there.
It was awesome.
Do you have any sort of preliminary thoughts? I'm curious to hear what you thought about it or anything that stood out to you.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll get into pretty much everything, but I guess the main thing that I keep coming down to is that the vibe was so overwhelmingly vibey in every possible best way imaginable. It was swanky.
Thank you.
And it was a ton of fun, and I think it painted the two of you very accuratted.
Thank you,
it was great, dude.
Thank you.
It was a blast. Got to see a lot of people.
Yeah.
Got to meet some of the characters from the show.
Yeah.
Chatted with Ryan for a while.
Oh, nice. The sexy arm, Ryan.
Yeah. Is he the same one with the deer?
No.
Strip club Ryan?
Yeah. Deer strip club Ryan. Arm dancing Ryan.
I forgot about the arm dancing, but as soon as he came out to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm Ryan." And I was like, "Deer?" And then he was like, "Yeah." And then we pulled over your dad, and and he was like, "We hit the deer, and Big G was Big G in it hard.
Hilarious.
So,
oh yeah, right. All right.
Great time, dude.
That's awesome.
It was great. But how are you doing?
I feel good, dude. I mean, I think it makes sense to sort of give everybody the play-by-play of all the stuff, because it's a special thing. So I think that is something we should do. So I will definitely do it. I feel great. I mean, there's so, broadly speaking, it's such an interesting feeling. I mean, there you are, getting married, and you're sort of, in succession having some of the, most significant memories of potentially your life, one after the other, in this very short period of time. You've been planning this for forever. And everybody's going to say, "Oh, well, you didn't do much planning." All right, fine. But I was aware of the planning. I was consulted on occasion. I gave my feedback. I knew what was going on. I knew what some of the challenges were. I knew it all. So I was along very closely for it, both participating and as a spectator during the planning, and then the wedding itself. I mean, dude, it went great, I thought. We had this sort of unique idea with the format, which we'll kind of tell you guys about, that I think worked out. There was moments where, I was hoping it would work, and then it worked better than I could have ever imagined. You know what I mean? There was just it was just so sick, dude. It was amazing. Being there with all those people and you love, and your friends and family and all that shit. Really, really great.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yesterday, I had texted Giulio about just little work stuff, and I felt so bad. I was just like, Giulio's coming down from this crazy high. Funny. I was like, who am I to be like, "Hey, do you see the new OS update that's going to help us boost engagement on our insights on social media?" And I was just like, just wait.
No, dude, it's fine.
I bet the high is just immaculate.
Yeah, it's crazy. And yeah, dude, I'm happy to talk to you about any of that shit. I had to pay the taxes for the charity yesterday. I was at H&R Block for an hour and a half. So it wasn't a full on come down day. You know what I mean? But dude, so yeah, I guess we'll give you guys the full fucking scoop here. So first of all, it was a New York City wedding. Now we live in New York City. So in theory, there's a way to do that wedding where it doesn't feel very wedding-y. You know what I mean? So it's everybody just lives there already, blah, 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 blah. So there's a couple fun things about all this. First of all, there's a lot of New York City people who actually got hotels in the sphere of where we were all getting them, which was super fun. And during the days, since I stayed in hotels starting Thursday night was the first night, Or was it Wednesday night? Yeah, Thursday night. So it was Friday, Saturday was the wedding, basically. Thursday, we had a small little family thing. But Thursday, we're in a hotel. And then like during the day, Friday and Saturday, I would just see people walking around that were at the wedding. Like the way that it would at a resort. You know what I mean? That specifically made me feel really happy. I was like, oh, this feels cohesive like a wedding, even though it's not, at Riviera Maya or whatever. It's like in the city. And I was hoping we could accomplish that, and we did. So that was really cool. And one more. So we stayed at the Bowery Hotel, which is where the wedding was Friday night. We stayed at the Bowery Hotel Thursday and Friday. We saw Charlie XCX coming out of the hotel one morning. There was all these paparazzis waiting for her. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I guess she was hosting SNL. And so then the paparazzis would just kind of be there the whole time. So at one point I come out of the hotel and I'm like, oh, no comment. Right? Making my little dad joke. How annoyed the paparazzis were at me for that. I was like, you guys are the most annoying people in the world.
Scum of the earth people.
You're not allowed to be mad at me. You're not allowed to be annoyed at me. That was a perfectly fine little dad joke I just made. I'm getting married. I'm just married. I forget at what point in the process this happened, but like, you're not going to give me that one. You are literally the most annoying people in the world.
Waste of life.
You are literally the most annoying people in the world. Waste of life. So anyway, whatever. But okay, so we kicked into wedding mode on Wednesday. So wedding Friday, reception Saturday. I'll walk you more through that in a sec.
Yeah.
But we kick into wedding mode on Wednesday. I kind of finish all the stuff I have to do. Hil Dog's off from work, and now we have to go kind of bring the welcome bags to all the hotels. So anybody who stayed in a hotel got a welcome bag. Now, not everybody stayed in the block. So like we had blocks at the Standard Highline and the Standard East Village. A couple people were staying at the Bowery, and then people were staying all over the city. So we get in Hillary's sister's car, and we start driving around the city to drop off all these welcome bags. Hillary insists on starting at like 5 p.m. I'm like, do you have any idea how insane the traffic's going to be? Like in Times Square where a couple of people are staying. Like, I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? So we do it. And then we are just crawling. We both have appointments at like 9 p.m. She had like a whatever pre-wedding beautification secret, whatever she was doing. I don't even know what it was. I had an infrared sauna appointment. So we did it for like 4 hours. We both went and did those things, and then we went back out to finish after. And like, obviously at night we smashed through it really quickly, but like took many, many, many hours. As I'm sitting there driving around in the car, I start getting paranoid that my like pinched nerve is going to flare up and that it's going to somehow derail the wedding. I was also being a hypochondriac the whole week leading into it, thinking that I was going to get sick. Like I was a little like, but it wasn't actual sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just kind of tired from the Friday I had, which is sad at this point in life. This is what happens. By the way, hardware, what up? Right? Crazy. So anyway, whatever. Then Thursday, we check into the hotel. It's the whole thing where it's like just so hard to find a spot. I'm like, we have to move the car in the morning, and then there's nowhere to park because everybody moved to the other side of the street. So I'm circling while Hillary's packing. It's this whole disaster thing. Then we find the best spot of all time next to the Bowery, which I was like, oh, this is unbelievable. I was like, we could have left the car there until Monday if we wanted. It was her sister's car. So she just drove it home. We had a dinner with family on Thursday night. It was basically my parents, her parents, one or two friends at Vic's, which is where I proposed, which was a nice tie-in. And it's also literally 80 feet away from the Bowery Hotel. So that was perfect. My parents were having a ball. Everybody was getting in the zone. And then Friday, we have the proper wedding. So I remember Thursday feeling really tired when I went to bed after dinner. And then we had like drinks with people in the lobby of the Bowery. And I remember just being exhausted. And then after that, I don't remember feeling that way again, which is interesting. They usually say your wedding can be like really tiring, really this, really that. But like this didn't really feel that way to me. It was really energizing. I enjoyed talking to everybody. I think I mentioned that at one point on Saturday when I gave a toast. But anyway, so the way that we did it, we changed up the format a bit. So we started the wedding weekend with getting married. So the first thing that happens Friday, which traditionally these days, the way that you'll see a lot of it happening is Friday will be the rehearsal dinner, which is like the people who came in from out of town, blah, 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 blah. And then Saturday is the wedding and the this and the that. So we didn't do that. We did literally the first thing you do is sit in your seats and see us get married. It's funny. I had a little convo with our officiant who is sort of the reason why, like ultimately the reason why we know each other, et cetera, et cetera. She was taking her duties very seriously. She did a great job, Emily. And the day before she calls me and we have a little vow. She's like, let me know when you have a second to chat. So we start talking about the vows. She's like, okay. She goes, your vows are great. Perfect. You know, I just want to sort of like give you some insight that will maybe help you decide if there's anything that you want to change. So she's like, first of all, yours are much longer than Hillary's at the moment, just FYI. The tones are also kind of different, but like that's not a problem, but just figured you'd want to know that. And then she kind of gave me a suggestion for a section that I could theoretically trim if I decided that I wanted to. And it sort of opened my eyes to something that I hadn't thought of, which is that like maybe I didn't need that section at all. And she sort of like she maybe knew that already, but didn't want to just say it because she didn't want to overstep or something. But it was very interesting. She played it very well. And it reminded me of one or two things that I don't even want to say because it's like I don't want to like make anybody feel weird or bad or whatever. Like people, maybe like things that I was going to mention in the vows that I left out. Nothing to do with Emily, obviously. So yeah, I cut that. Then Hillary gave me this book. She's like, you need to print out your vows and paste them into this book. Like tape them. So now I have this like arts and crafts project, which I was not very confident about. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, like I'm not good with my fine motor skills. So I'm trying to like finally get it there, whatever, we're good. I thought that the vows went great. I thought they were like both pretty personal. They were fun. I got a couple of good zingers in there. And I would say that was like probably one of the most nerve-wracking moments was just like standing up there, seeing her walk down. It's like a very surreal. It's one of these sort of like life moments you've heard about forever. And like, you know, if you were lucky enough to experience it. And then when you're actually standing there doing it, it's like, oh shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. I would say that's like the closest I got to like maybe having a very outwardly emo moment. I can be kind of shy around most people when it comes to that kind of stuff, but around Hillary, I can get as emotional as I want. So she thinks that I'm this like super emotional person, but like no one else would think that necessarily. So which is interesting. But anyway, yeah, just seeing her walking down the aisle was nuts. We also did a thing where we did all the pictures before the wedding ceremony. So this way we could enjoy the cocktail hour with all our friends. So I actually saw her in the dress before the ceremony. But we both agreed that was worth it. And yeah, dude, it was nuts. We sat there, we did it. I don't know if you haven't had any thoughts about the ceremony or any of that stuff.
Who is the officiant? Emily?
Emily.
She killed it.
She was great.
Some of the things that she said, I've never heard at weddings. Like some of the things that like the participation aspect, there was a little bit of that. She was awesome. Victoria had a long chat with her after and was just like picking her brain about how she went about doing it. She killed it.
She was great.
It was very engaging. It was a great ceremony.
It's cool. So well prepared.
It's cool that you guys did the photos before. One thing that I would love to do is to be able to enjoy the cocktail hour the entire time.
Totally.
So I've been to weddings where not necessarily ones that I've been in that photos have taken a very long time and it takes the party away from the rest of the people at the reception.
Totally.
And they come in late.
Totally.
And love the hors d'oeuvres, so I want to be able to enjoy that as long as
the
possible.
hors d'oeuvres were great.
But no, it was a beautiful ceremony. I love probably talk about this a bunch more sprinkled throughout the episode, but just the music choice just was so you, and it was very vibey, and that was the lovey vibey part. It was the perfect. It was great, dude. It was really lovely. Thank you, nothing else really to add. Let's keep going.
Yeah, no. But so anyway, then we had a great cocktail hour. The place, so this is another thing. Remember I told you about burying the bottle of bourbon? Worked like a friggin' charm, dude. Weather was absolutely perfect. And there was like this half outdoor space in the Bowery as well, where on the second floor where we got married. And the weather was absolutely perfect for it. Meaning like if you were a guy in a tux and you walked out on the balcony, like you were the most comfortable ever. Like the weather could not have been better. They had heating lamps too that were just very slightly turned on. So shout out to Allie and Ben for that idea of the bourbon, because literally every single day of the weekend was absolutely perfect weather, dude. It was like
perfect weekend.
65 and sunny the whole weekend.
Yeah. I got to walk just straight in my tuxedo from my apartment out the door on the subway. Beautiful out.
Amazing.
Even late night, it wasn't even that cold.
I know.
So global warming.
It ruled. It was perfect. So yeah, great cocktail hour, great hors d'oeuvres, whatever. We went up to the room for 1 second to just kind of like collect our thoughts, put some stuff down, whatever. And then we re-entered. Great. Then a great long dinner, a lot of speeches. They were all really good. Really funny, some really funny lines in there. I wish I could remember all of the highlights, but always fun. I always like enjoy seeing the speeches at other people's weddings. So it's really fun when they're about you. And we have a really good mixture of friends who are close with both of us. So it was easy for people to have speeches that were like really geared toward both of us, which was really fun. My parents gave the speech last. They were very cute. My dad kept putting his glasses up because he'd been writing stuff down. Like, I think he was intending to initially wing it, but then when he saw everybody giving the speeches, he started having ideas, and you see him over there jotting stuff down throughout the dinner. And he kept picking up his glasses, and then they kept falling back down. He put them back in his head. They kept falling back down. And one of Hillary's cousins at the end of the ceremony or at the end of dinner was like, "Big G, glasses on or off? We'll never know." So that was really fun. The dinner food was really fun. And then afterward, we had sort of like a lounge set up, which was sick. I feel like that venue was great for a sort of late fall, winter ceremony too. It felt very lodgy and very almost like a castle or something. You know what I mean? It felt very like cozy. Like a fire being on felt very appropriate type of vibe. There was like a pool table, popcorn machine that said the gals on it, which is a fun little play on words because Hillary's always called herself a gal and refers to people as the gals and the gal. So now that she's literally a galerati, a gal, it makes it a very fun little play on words.
Nice.
Bought a popcorn machine for that. Then there was this really cool photo booth that Hillary somehow found where like you could step on it to cue the picture to happen and then would recognize your face and just like send the photos to you, which was sick. I was like, oh, this is a really cool thing. Also, this is a fun and funny lesson. If you are having a photo booth moment at a wedding and it's a moment that you might be embarrassed of if it weren't to be private, just remember the bride and groom are going to see all the photos. There are some hilarious photo moments in the photo booth, dude, with people who doing like solo photo shoots that like are never ending. Like 100 pictures at different times of the night, posing. Like, dude, hilarious. Other people whose dresses are so see-through that they are literally naked when the photo booth, like full breast. You can just see their entire naked body.
Wow.
LOL. Maybe it was intended, maybe not.
So funny.
Great.
That's nice.
So anyway, yeah, that night didn't wrap up too late. And then the next day, we had to change hotels. We moved from the Bowery to the Standard where we had this like porn suite, dude. It was hilarious. Like, there's literally a director's chair in the suite, which was for makeup. We found out later, but it like fit the vibe of this room so hard. Like floor to ceiling windows. There was like a couch baked into the floor where like if you stepped on a specific area of it, it was soft as part of the floor. It just looked like this hotel room looked like a place where orgies happen.
A lot of play.
So yes, circular bed. Like it was just hilarious. And so from there, the wedding reception started at 7:30. And I would say that this was the part of the weekend that I was the most stressed about from I hope the party's fun perspective. The Boom Boom Room, if you've ever been there, it's unbelievable. It's sick. It's like an iconic venue. So fun. But there were some unanswered questions because, first of all, this was to be our wedding reception, right? And we wanted to just be a party, but we didn't want it to feel like a birthday party. You know what I mean? That was what Hillary kept saying. Fully agree. Like we wanted it to feel like a wedding still. So how do you do that? How do you accomplish the party vibe, big banger party, also with some wedding elements? So we had our ideas of how we do that. Party starts, we're there, whatever. We end up making our big entrance, which we had a song, I think, you know that song, I Just Can't Get You Out of My Head.
That's what it's called.
Kylie Minogue, yes. So we come into that, amazing. The song is sort of playing longer than we had expected. So now we're sort of like trying to dance along to this song we hadn't intended to dance along to. And it was like funny. We're like talking about it. We're like, oh my God, I guess this is the song we're dancing to. Eventually the DJ transitions into our dance song, which is Thinking of You, Frank Ocean. Is it Thinking About You or Thinking of You?
About.
Thinking About You. That's embarrassing. But whatever. Thinking About You, which was really nice. There was also a really special moment where everybody was like kind of singing along to the song, which I thought was really cute. We also did a good job of like cutting songs at the appropriate time. Like we don't want to dance to the entire song. It's a long song. Find a good stopping point. We've kind of pre-decided that. From there, we have dances with our families. I danced with my mom, which was a really sweet, special moment. It was this kind of like deep cut Italian song that I remember from being a kid. And everybody was like Shazamming the song apparently and like showing me that later, which is cute. She was singing along, which is super sweet. Then Hillary and her dad danced along to a Frank Sinatra song. We then tried to get everybody on the dance floor, which was successful. People are dancing. Now, I was worried about the dancing area because there isn't like a clear, obvious place to dance at the Boom Boom Room. It ended up working out completely fine. The DJ was unbelievable. This guy, DJ Big Ben, absolutely crushed it. Like, so solid. Like, the party was lit as fuck. By the second half of the party, everybody was losing their minds dancing. Hillary and I also at one point changed outfits and then reemerged on the bar, dancing on the bar, which was a sick moment.
That was a movie.
Coming out to Bad Bunny was sick. And that, I think, is a moment that everybody enjoyed because there was so much, when I saw people tagging us and shit, like that was what they posted. Yeah. They're like, oh, this was sick. And that was another thing where people were like, what was that song? What's that song? And I'm like, oh, that was fire. So that was sick. And then from there was kind of like no turning back. Like the night just became fucking turned. The photo booth was still there. There was a great sushi station. But there was also a funny policy that Hillary had, which was no forks. There should be no food that involves forks because she just didn't want people to be standing there with a fork. Like the idea is keep the party moving at all costs. So all the past food was edible with your hands. We didn't even do cake. If you wanted cake, you needed to like grease someone to get some cake.
Yeah.
And yeah, really, really good food and lots of food. They had Joe's Pizza that came in late night. I didn't get to enjoy as much of the food as I wanted, but that's probably a good thing because the next day I was hungover and eating so much fucking food. So I would be sick still right now if I didn't do that. So that was sick. And then, yeah, dude, I mean, by the time the night ended, it was the exact desired effect, which was there was a ton of people still there who were not ready for the night to end. So then we had to make a decision quickly. What do we want to do? There's a place across the way from the Boom Boom Room called Le Bain, which is sort of like a more accessible spot. Like the Boom Boom Room is only for private events, I think now. And even before that, it was like exclusive. You know what I mean? Le Bain's a place that you can kind of just go to, but the music was like very like boom, 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 like really fast BPM, like intense. Like I was like, this doesn't seem like the vibe. So the wedding planner was like, all right, I can also get you guys into this other spot. So this place called Common Ground, which is like around the corner, sort of like a meat packing spot, like a place that like younger people are going to be more likely to go. Super crowded, like maybe a place where you get a table. Somebody handled all that. I don't know how it all happened, but we just walked like 30 people in there and suddenly that was just like a complete banger, dude. Like shut it down. Like people were just passing me bottles of tequila. My couple boys from growing up, Ryan and Charlie, were sitting behind me. Philip, my boy, was there. My brother, like actually, I don't think my brother made it to the after party, but like bunch of people there, dude. And it was just like so much fun. Just like burned it down. And then, you know, it was like a 4 a.m. night, which I don't have very often, but obviously on your wedding, great time to do it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Dude, to be able to just like let go and let the coordinator hook that all up.
Yeah.
You just showed up and everything was all fine and dandy.
Dude, like
that's amazing.
Well, so
dude.
we were all sort of standing in this queue and there's that moment before you go out to some spot in New York or whatever. I feel like it's not as much like this these days because like the Gen Z kids aren't as into bottle service as like the millennials. But like you're standing in that line, there's 2 lines, there's a normal line, the bottle service line, you gotta know somebody, whatever. And the wedding planner the guy did the classic thing where he's like, there's a ton of people, and she just was like very calmly, shout out to Erica, very calmly, before you know it, we're all just fucking waltzing right in and end up just having like a banger fucking late night sesh.
It's awesome, dude.
The speech is also, okay, so that was another way we wanted to differentiate Saturday night without bogging it down because we got almost all the speeches out of the way Friday. And there was a lot. But we spaced it out throughout dinner. So we'd have 3, a course, another 3 or 4, course, another 3. You know, I felt like it didn't drag too much. I thought it was perfect. And then on Saturday, it was just 3 speeches. Ricky Emily, again, the officiant, gave a speech, and then Hillary's sisters. That was pretty much it. Hillary and I gave a quick toast. And those things made it feel wedding-y. You know what I mean? So I felt as if the Hil Dog's vision went off perfectly. And, I was along the way confirming those decisions. And it was all groovy.
Like, that's my wife.
That's my wife.
That's my wife.
I've used that a couple times already. My wife.
Yeah.
We did another infrared sauna session. I was like, can my wife use the blah, 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 the intro package? My wife, I've used it once or twice. It's been great. I'm looking forward to using I'm a married man.
Yeah.
And she's like, when would you be using that? Like, if there's another woman approaches you, I'm like, well, I guess. But also, in general, there's other ways you can drop. I'm a married man.
Yeah. If someone asks you to do something stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm a married man.
He's a married man.
Exactly. Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Feels lit.
I want to talk about I had a couple things about the Boom Boom Room, but one thing I forgot about Friday night was the wine selection. It was between red and orange.
You like that?
And I drank it like it was. I forget sometimes that wine is wine and not water. Oh my God, the orange wine was so good.
You like that?
I asked the waiter, I was like, can I take a picture of the bottle? I got pictures of the bottle.
Very Brooklyn of us.
It was delicious. And then I went during the drinks after dinner. They had some of that at the bar, so I was enjoying that a lot. And I got to hang out with Zach. And we were talking to
Zach
him
Mitchell?
and his girlfriend for a while.
Wait,
Cameron,
no, Zach Ray.
Zach Ray, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach Ray.
I did see Mitchell, but we were sitting next to Zach Ray, and we talked to him for a long part of the night, and it was great. I've seen him out at like your premiere and at a couple of other events, but we really got to chat, and that was really nice.
Zach Ray is my travel video companion for all the Afghanistan, all that shit. Also, shout out to Adam Quinlan, Rachel and Noah Ray. Rachel and Noah were the photographers. Adam Quinlan is a guy who's listened to Oops in the past, and he has gone on a lot of the trips that I've gone on, Iraq, Afghanistan, like after I did them, and like used sort of my itinerary as a template, I think. But he came and did the videography, which was super sick. All the Oops boys were in the house, Francis, Chris. It was a great time.
The DJ was amazing. The way that he wove a basket of music, perfectly nestling songs in and out of each other and raising the BPM. I would like his information.
Yeah.
And I thought that you guys curated just like the perfect genre blend of music. Oh my God, dude. Vic and I, like, my hands were shaking, and in the last day and a half, Victoria and I have just like made a Spotify playlist that we're like funneling songs into, and it's very much inspired by the vibe that you guys had.
We have a playlist actually that we can share with you also that had a lot of the songs, because we gave that playlist to the DJ and we're like, take this and make it better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what we like. Definitely use a lot of the songs, but like, just take this and make it flow, make it good. And he just absolutely crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was a really great moment. The other thing, so the cool thing about the Boom Boom Room, it's sort of like a 360 view of the city. So like, you're on the top floor of the Standard in the Meatpacking District, the OG one in New York at least, and you have views of all the iconic New York landmarks. So like, you can see the Empire State Building, you can see the World Trade Center, you can see the Statue of Liberty, blah blah blah, and it's all around, all floor to ceiling windows. So there's that like dance area, but then there's also like an area where it goes down. And like, there's all these lounge areas, and you like walk down, and like, it's really comfortable, really chill, and everybody has their own little private areas to hang. It's so chill that I actually worried that it might prevent people from dancing, but it did not. Was not a deterrent at all. Everybody brought their A game. Another thing that I thought was really cool about the weekend was it was very smoker friendly, which like. We have some Europeans in the mix. Like, I think it's important for a wedding to accommodate smokers. A party is the one time where smokers should be allowed to shine. And I've been to weddings where like you can't smoke or it's weird to smoke. But like the Bowery, the whole time it was smoker friendly. We had a huge balcony in our hotel room, which had ashtrays. And then even at the Boom Boom, there's this little secret area you could sneak out and smoke in also.
Really?
Yeah. So I was glad that the smokers were represented.
I thought it was so funny. There was a video that Vic got that we were looking at later in the night, and it was Ricky on stage with your cast of characters, all of you guys up there.
Oh, on the
and
bar.
Ricky on the bar, and he's emceeing, and I forget what the song is. I'll send it to you, but he was like hyping up the DJ. He's like, go DJ. He's like, give it up. He was like emceeing, and he was just doing his Ricky stuff.
Ricky somehow ended up with a microphone on the bar, and he was being hilarious, dude. He was like
so funny.
He was kind of sillily. He was being silly and like doing sort of a caricature of the hype man character, but also doing it well. He was simultaneously being funny and hyping up everybody in the room, which was sick. And this is at one point, once we were on the bar, we sort of invited other people to come dance on the bar, which, by the way, was a nerve-wracking moment because God forbid Hillary were to fall. You don't want, like, Hillary, we don't need Hillary falling. That's the one person we don't want to fall. We don't want me to fall. And like, it's one thing to kind of trip and fall, or like falling isn't a big deal. Falling off the bar is a big deal. So I was really watching her feet to make sure that she was good. I didn't want anybody to fall off the bar. At one point, this one girl comes up to me who is sort of like the token person who gets drunk.
Yeah.
The token person who gets drunk. And she comes over to me and she goes, I want to get up on the bar. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, sweetie. And she goes, well, how come? I was like, you're going to fall off the bar. You're going to fall. And she goes, okay.
She drifted off.
And
got a drink.
She probably won't remember that moment, but I'm really glad that I 86'd her ascending the bar situation.
Yeah.
That would have not ended well.
Very husbandly.
Very husbandly.
Instinctual.
Yep. Very paternal.
It's funny you mentioned that. So was it always planned for you guys to end up walking out on the bar and dancing? Or was that like a new development?
The Boom Boom Room is kind of known for a place where you can dance on the bar. There is a little stair thing that they put up next to one of the sides of the bar. And if you want to, you can literally just hop right up, but the stairs make it easier. So we always knew we were going to dance on the bar, and B, that there was going to be dancing on the bar.
Gotcha.
That was always planned.
Well, I saw like the service like at the Boom Boom Room was just insane, and like the level of detail that they took into play. Like when you guys came onto the stage, I saw like multiple servers as if they were doing, what's the Olympic sport?
Curling.
Dude, they literally, as you guys were walking down the curved bar, they were wiping down the counter like fast and very close to your feet, but they were on top of it. It wasn't like a lack of urgency. It was like we are going to serve until the very last possible safe second to do so. Totally. And then they were able to safely make sure that the bar was clear for you guys. Another thing that I noticed was during the speeches, I was standing in the gallery area by the bar, and somebody ordered a cocktail. And the server said, he's like, we can do any drinks that don't result in popping a bottle right now or shaking, because you guys were giving speeches. But they had everything down to a T. They're like, we're not going to do a shaker during the speeches and things like that. Like they really brought the boom.
Hell yeah.
They did bring the boom. It was awesome.
Was brought. I had a mezcal Negroni in my hand at all times. Someone would just bring one over to me to make sure I have it. And usually I only drink like 2 or maybe 3 in one night. This weekend I was drinking 5 or 6 per night.
Different beast.
Different
animal.
It's just a different thing.
Yeah. I was drinking the mezcal margaritas that they made, which were just amazing. I had 2 within a very short period of time, and I didn't realize until Victoria pointed it out to me, but my skin started flushing.
What happened?
So I think I'm slightly
Seafood?
allergic. I'm slightly allergic to alcohol in some regard, and I can't pinpoint exactly whether it's a combination of different liquor or whatever. But sometimes I flush, and it doesn't mean like I'm fine, and it doesn't mean I'm drunk, but just sometimes I flush. And so I took this picture with Zach Ray, and didn't realize until after the fact. I probably talked to like 15 people, and I looked like this. One sec, wait a minute. I look like I should be hospitalized.
Oh my God. Yeah, dude.
Like
you look like
camouflaged chameleon skin.
You look like either you went to Miami and didn't put on sunscreen, or like you just survived a forest fire.
Yeah.
That's like Hitch level anaphylaxis.
Yeah. So it was bad, but then I just had some water and it went away. It's so lame because that's all it takes. You just drink some water and it goes right away.
You looked great, by the way.
Thank you. It was my first time wearing a black tux. And
Look great.
I loved wearing it. And it was funny on Friday night. I was helping.
Wait, that is happened on Friday.
No,
or
this
Saturday?
was Saturday.
Okay.
On Friday, I was helping Abba with his bow tie because he manually tied it, and it kept turning kind of like a kitchen timer.
Talking about ABBA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was turning kind of like a kitchen timer, and so we were trying we were trying our best to fix it. I was just giving him notes, and then he was like, "Well, you're wearing the pre-tie bow tie. That looks terrible." And I was just like, "Thank you." I was like, "Thank you, Abba. Thank you so much."
Fucking Abba.
So then the next night, I made sure that I tied my own bow tie and I
Very
brought it.
nice.
And
It
Abba
looks
was the
good.
first person I saw, and I said, "Huh?"
Yeah. He goes, ah.
Yeah, him and Fran, they're really nice.
Abba's one of these guys. Abba is Francis's buddy from college. He's a very good tennis player. He was the best tennis player at the wedding for sure. And my boys from my tennis team were there too, but Abba played for Harvard. They're like way better than us. And I think he played like number 1 or number 2 singles. Like when Harvard would play us, they wouldn't even play their top 3 or 4 guys and they would still kill us. Like they're like a top 10 team, top 10 in the country team. We were all right, but we weren't like that good, you know, as far as D1 goes. So he's a great dude, and he's just one of these dudes, man, that just gets along with everybody. So, like, naturally, of course, I've become very good friends with him.
Yeah.
That would not surprise Francis at all. He'd be like, Abba's one of those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a great dude.
He's a great hang. One of my buddies, Sandy Danto, very funny comedian. So we wanted people to go for it on Saturday night with the looks. This guy, Mikey Dickstein, I don't know how you pronounce it, but he showed up rocking like a wool suit. Somebody texted me, there was a man running around in a wool suit and giant glasses. I need that guy to be around. And I was like, yes. Sandy wore like a suit jacket with a wife beater and like these glasses. And people kept being like, I think I rode the elevator with a porn director. Somebody's like, I think I rode the elevator with a Coke dealer.
Yo, I know you're talking. Yes. Yes.
And Sandy goes, to anybody who's saying that, did you even read the Pinterest inspiration board, bro? I was like, that is funny.
Yeah.
That is fucking funny, dude.
Dude, your fit was so fresh on
You like the
Saturday.
fit?
The tee and the blazer.
I changed into the tee.
Okay.
I started, these were the fits. I wore a traditional tux Friday. As promised, ample seat in the inside, the embroidery. And then on the Saturday night suit, daddy in the embroidery, sexy. So traditional tux Friday.
I
Saturday.
didn't see that. That's cool. I didn't know about the daddy.
Yeah. Saturday, I wore a white tux jacket, blacks tux pants, a regular button down, not a tux shirt. And then, whatever, low, like tuck shoes or whatever, like suede ones.
Yeah.
And then at some point during the night, I changed into sneakers and a white tee, but kept all the rest of the outfit. And that was fun. That was really fun to like change up the looks in the middle of the night type of deal. Blah, 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 blah. And dude, yeah, it was just so fucking epic, man.
It was awesome.
Truly a weekend to remember.
You have great friends, like the people outside of the comedy world that I got to meet. And then it was great, catching up with Hannah and Danny and Zach and all those people. But like just some of your friends from home that I met for the first time, just great chats with them, like great people. Great people.
Yeah.
And your parents are the best. Your
Yeah,
mom is the sweetest person, and your dad, Big G, is just Big G in it.
Yeah.
He's great.
Truly Big G in it, man. So yeah, there was a couple, I had mentioned classic Gallerati fashion. If the library that we're doing in Afghanistan being named after Hillary, for a variety of reasons, but and I said this in my vows too, which I'm not going to like reveal every single thing I said in my vows, but it's not only a romantic gesture, which is also funny because we remember that clip from back in the day, like our first viral clip about instead of giving my girl an engagement ring, build a school and name it after her. It's funny that now both of those things have happened. She got the ring and she got now the library named after her. But I was saying how like I want it to be like a lot of these little girls who would go to the library, like their first sort of tangible connection to a like strong, independent woman, basically.
Yeah.
And not that they should try to be like her or if it's even possible to be like her, but just good for them to like know what's out there when they ask, who is Hillary? Who's Ms. Hillary? Who's the library? Who's this person the library is named after? I think that would be special and have some weight to it. But I told her that one night when I was drunk, which I shouldn't have done but then I never brought it up again. So she kind of like forgot about it a little, but I was like, I wish I fucking, but I still think it had the weight, hopefully. So that was all good. The other thing too, and I said this in my toast, but there's a couple things that stood out to me about like, the significance of weddings and where people's weddings stand in their like list of memories. I get why people are so like attached to their wedding memorabilia, pictures, and like I get it. It's a lot of the time people will have gotten in the best shape they're ever going to be in. Not the case for me. I kind of just stayed the same. But like, you know, people will be like, their profile picture is their wedding picture. Or like 1 year out from their wedding, they repost the wedding pictures. Or when people come over, they show you their wedding photos of the wedding. Because it's just such a special feeling. I understand why it sort of just kind of never wears off for you. You know what I mean? And like, I come over to my friend's house and I see their wedding pictures. It doesn't make me feel any sort of way unless maybe I was there or like I was a big part of the wedding. But I get it now. I get it. Like how special that night was. Like I will always remember that. And every time I look back on all the stuff, I will feel that way. You know what I mean? So that was one takeaway. Another takeaway was like, people always say like, oh, you know, your wedding's exhausting. You don't always enjoy your own wedding. I really didn't feel that way. Like as I walked around that room on Saturday, Friday, like each person I bumped into and had to talk to, like I was so happy to talk to everybody. And even some of the people I didn't know that well, if it was like Hillary's family friends or family friends of my parents who I haven't seen in many years, like it was just so great to talk to everybody that like I actually felt invigorated by it. I felt energized by it more so than I did anything else, which was pretty special, dude.
It's pretty great.
Pretty fucking sweet.
Congrats.
Thank you, man.
It was
Thank you.
was so happy to be there. It was sick.
Such a vibe.
Great time.
Such a good time. Thanks to Hillary's family. Thanks to my family. Thanks to all the family, friends, Lynch, everybody who came out. It was super special for sure, man. All right, well, hope you guys enjoyed that little wedding recap. I'm sure there'll be some sprinkles of stuff that we forgot to talk about that we'll talk about on the next one. Don't forget to come see me and Lynch December 13th at New York Comedy Club, Stamford. I have some more dates coming down the pipeline soon, too. I'm waiting to finalize the Charlotte and DC dates that are going to be in the kind of late spring, early summer. And then I also have Alaska coming up at the end of January, I believe, unless something goes horribly wrong. I think all these dates are pretty set in stone. But yeah, follow us at Oops Podcast, at Not Julio, at Not Julio G on TikTok and Snapchat. Lynch, you got anything else?
Yes, I'll be with Giulio in Connecticut on the 13th. I'm also doing a show in New York on Thursday, December 5th in New York City. Would love to see you guys out there. All my info at Ryan is really polite. And again, email us at oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you. We love you guys, and we will see you guys on Thursday.